Welcome back to the next day of Personal Profitability Bootcamp. So now we've looked at all of our accounts, we understand how it's all coming together, we understand our spending, and we're working to build our credit scores for a brighter and better future. So today we're going to look at another really long-term part of our finances, and that's our investments. We want to optimize our investments, whether they're in a regular taxable stock investment account or a 401k or a Roth IRA, whatever type of investment accounts you have. We want to make sure that those investment choices are the smartest for your goals. Now, everyone has different goals, everyone has a different financial situation, so there's no right or wrong answer in investments, but there are right answers for you to try to make your best decisions. So we're going to jump in right now and look at how we're invested, what our fees are, how we can lower our fees and try to get the best gains for the years to come. Let's dive in.
So now we're going to optimize our investments. Now there's a quote that no one knows if Albert Einstein really said this. A lot of people think he didn't, but it's famously attributed to him, one of the smartest people who've ever lived, at least in the last couple centuries. He said, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." Now, that's a really important thing to think about when you're dealing with your finances. If you have compound interest on a loan, on a debt, like let's say credit cards, it can become very, very expensive quickly. But if you have savings and investments, you'll get really rich. That's why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because of compound interest. That's a huge part of it. There's other factors too. I'm simplifying it. But compound interest is a very important financial concept, and if you don't understand it, Google it. There's a lot of cool videos about you can learn about. But make sure you understand that. So today we're going to talk about using that to grow our wealth. Now, I have an automated money map I made not too long ago. I've written about it on the blog, about where my money comes through my bank accounts. So, I have my paycheck coming in twice a month, my checking. This was just an estimate. These weren't real numbers. That I was making payments for, let's say rent and student loans and car loans and credit cards. Then there's that savings and everything else part. Well, it's easy to get into spending all this money without thinking a whole lot about that everything else part, but it is really important. We'll go into this automation a little bit more in a couple days, but right now I want you to notice that before my paycheck even hits my checking account, I have money going into my 401k and my Roth IRA. Before I pay a bill, before I have any expenses, I'm putting into savings and other investments. That's called paying yourself first, and that is a huge part of growing your wealth. So to understand my investments, I use this really cool tool. It's totally free, Personal Capital. Go to personalprofitability.com/personalcapital to sign up and try it out. But I entered my my portfolio information, my Schwab login and other stuff, and was able to pull in all my investments and my cash and my bank accounts. And this is my investment portfolio from that point in time. So you can see I was heavily invested in stocks, a little bit international, mostly U.S. A lot of that was made up of things like S&P 500 index funds, because I wanted to keep it low risk and build my portfolio. I have some alternatives. That's things like Lending Club, things like that, and a little bit of cash, some bonds, but mostly stocks. But what's important is that I understood my allocation and where I wanted my money to be to grow best for my needs. So the Holy Grail, according to Warren Buffett, one of the most famous investors in the world, someone asked him, they said, actually this was in his letter to shareholders a couple of years ago, they said, if you were to pass away, what would you want done with your money that's going left to your wife? He's one of the wealthiest people in the world, probably the greatest investor in history. He said, "My advice to the trustee could not be more simple. Put 10% of the cash in short-term government bond funds and 90% in a very low-cost S&P 500 index fund. I suggest Vanguard's. I believe the trust's long-term results from this policy will be superior to those attained by most investors, whether pension funds, institutions, or individuals who employ high-fee managers." So what this is saying is a low-cost index fund, something that anybody could buy, is probably going to outperform professional investors, especially those who charge high fees. And that's really important to understand. So get out of high fee funds. I use Personal Capital. There's a link at the bottom to sign up for free. I do get a little bit of a a referral fee depending on what your financial situation looks like when you sign up. So be aware, but I do appreciate that. That's really the only way that personal profitability makes money right now. So I opened up this retirement fee analyzer and I saw I'm losing a whole year of my retirement due to fees on my investments. And my fees are 0.2% compared to the average, their benchmark is a 0.5%. So if your fees are higher than that, you're going to be losing years and years of your retirement. So I took my money out of high fee funds and put them into low fee funds. It ended up saving me, about $300 a year in the current term, but over time that's thousands and thousands of dollars I'm saving. $300 a year times 30 plus compound interest. That this is serious money we're talking about that I saved from shuffling my index funds around a little bit to be in lower fee funds that are comparable. So, if you want a snapshot on good places to invest, there's a couple of favorites that I have personally, and here's a couple that I use myself. I'm not a registered investment advisor, so I'm not allowed to tell you how much or where to invest for pay. That's not something I'm legally allowed to do, but I can share with you where I invest. So I like low-cost S&P 500 index funds because I have accounts at Schwab. That's one that I use myself. I also have some Vanguard in my portfolio. There's a couple ways to get the Vanguard S&P 500 index fund. You can get it as a mutual fund under ticker VFINX. That's showing at the top bottom left. The fee for that is 0.17%. If you have a huge amount of money to invest, you can get Admiral shares. They charge only 0.05%. That's VFIAX. Or you can just buy it as an ETF, just like a stock or a bond. Again, with that low fee is VOO as the ticker symbol. Another place that I like to invest is target date funds, or target retirement funds. There's a few different names for them. But the idea is that you invest in a fund that is a fund of funds, stocks, bonds, other mutual funds inside of it. And a professional manager over time makes it a little less risky and a little less risky as you approach your target retirement date. Now, based on my age, 2050 is the target date fund for me, so that's VFIFX. Whatever your age is, there would be a different fund that is optimized for you. So, sometimes there's debate about that, if the fees make sense, if their risks and investments are good compared to just getting an S&P 500 fund. I'll let you read more into that, but those are places that I like to put my money. There's another cool tool in addition to Personal Capital called Future Advisor that I like. You can, again, plug in your account information and it will look at your portfolio and suggest what you should buy and sell to better align your investments with your own goals. This will break you up into smaller mutual funds, not just like a big lump into an S&P 500 fund like Warren Buffett said to do. But another useful tool and data point you can use when making investment decisions. But at the end of the day, investment should be boring. Sexy investments and exciting investments, they're fun. Who doesn't want to pick the next stock and become an internet millionaire? Or there were so many dot-com millionaires from the stock market. But at the end of the day, I like Warren Buffett's method because it's tried and true and it works. Investment should be boring. You should just buy things like your S&P 500 index fund or target date fund and forget about it for a couple decades. Check in a couple times a year for your statements. Don't really forget about it. But don't touch it. Don't tinker with it. Because over time, the S&P 500 has always gone up. The markets always go up. Even with a short bad period, they come back and then some. So outside of those serious investments, I do have some fun money. I have about $15,000, $20,000 in just regular single stocks. So I guess I'm kind of not following my own advice, but I have allocated this money as money I can't afford to lose that I've bought individual stocks. Here's a list of some companies that I have in my portfolio and a picture of the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas. After a trip there, I saw how much money people were throwing away at the Wynn. Thought it seemed well run, so I bought that stock. One place that I like to buy stocks is Loyal3. Go to personalprofitability.com/loyal3, and you can buy and sell stocks with no fees at all. 100% fee-free trading, which you can't really find many other places. There's another place called Robinhood that you can do that, but there's not a lot of options. So fee-free trading, why spend $10 to buy and sell a stock when you could do it for free? So I like Loyal3. That's it for today on investing. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Along the way, we have a private Facebook group just for people who are part of the Personal Profitability Project for our community. You can get on there by, you already got a link when you signed up for the email list. It's facebook.com/groups/personal profitability group. And you can ask me questions about investing or anything else from Personal Profitability's bootcamp or anything else I write about on the blog there. And it's a great place to connect with other members of the Personal Profitability community so you can help each other, earn more and spend less and live a better life through personal finances. And that's what it's all about. So until next time, stay profitable.